Okay. So, and what is that paper?
So
Hello.
India, democracy and development.
Okay, okay, okay. I got it, got it. Okay. So, mm, just a minute. Mm, okay. So, I'm trying to find out the. Sorry. So, what is that there? See, we have. I think. So, Unit One is legacy of. You know.
National movement.
Uh,
So it's given. Whatever, sir.
ସାର୍ କୁଆଡ଼େ ପଳେଇଲେ ବୋଧେ।
ଲିଙ୍କ ଉଡ଼ି ଯାଇଥିବ ସାର୍ଙ୍କର ମେ ବି or something ମେ ବି କିଛି ନେଟୱାର୍କ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ଥିବ। ଜଏନ୍ କରିଥିଲେ ମାନେ କରିବେ ବୋଧେ ଆଉ ଥରେ ଜଏନ୍।
yeah. So, so Unit One. What is in Unit One? Can you please tell me? Because as I see, this is legacy of national development with reference to development, rights, and participation. Is it in Unit One?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, how many of you have read Unit 1? So, today I will be taking a 1 hour lecture. So, in 1 hour lecture, I will be discussing with you about, 4 units. Okay, because roughly we have 18 to 20 units, and I have roughly 5 to 6 classes. Usually, I take 5 classes to complete the syllabus and 1 class for covering the entire, just broad coverage of the entire paper. Okay. uh, what is in Unit 1? I mean, so as we see that that as we see that what we can see that national development. What exactly is national development? What do you mean by national development? Hello.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by national development?
So
Are national
national
development?
development, sir, national development means that development in the whole scenario inside every phase of the nation,
Hmm.
from
You consider GDP.
Yes.
from the so it's from the grassroots levels,
Uh-huh.
development in every stage inside the nation that can be defined as national development.
Okay.
Yes,
See,
sir.
try to understand national development, and particularly when we try to link it to national movement. Okay. See, there is a what we can see is that when we try to understand the foundation of the Indian National Congress. Okay. So in 1885, the educated elite actually, we all know it that they formed the Indian National Congress as an umbrella organization, okay, of all sections of the Indian people, beginning with the demand for adequate representation of the Indians in the senior government services and the legislative bodies created by the Indian Councils Act 1861. Okay. So ये जो इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस आसीथिला तमने how many of you know actually the history of Indian National Congress? How many of you?
A little bit, sir.
What little bit do you know about Indian National Congress? Please tell me.
That 1995 thing, and then founder, and after formation of that Muslim League and something like that.
Uh-huh.
After
Okay.
after that, in 1905 they divided, and
uh, what else do you know? Do you
there was
know
some.
some people who are associated with Indian national movement?
I just forgot the name, sir. Then
No, please tell me. Hello.
The boss, or I don't know his name.
Yes. Mm, mm, uh,
I forgot, sir. Sorry.
no, see, try to understand that Indian National Congress, it was formed in 1885, and William Bentinck, okay,
Yes.
and he was instrument, and people like Dadabhai Naroji and Ani Besant. No, Ani Besant came little bit later, but Alan Octavian Hume. Okay,
Yeah,
he was
he-
instrumental in the foundation of Indian National Congress. Okay, are you getting my point?
yes.
Yes, sir.
So Alan Octavian Hume, he was instrumental in all these Indian National Congress. And when Indian National Congress was established, it was earlier considered as a safety valve of the British policy. Okay,
Yes.
what is that safety valve? Safety valve means, basically it would act as a pressure group. Okay, it would not, react sharply, but it would appeal. It would be what I can say. Uh, it would, give memorandums to people and appeal. Um, it would submit request to the British government to consider some of the concessions to the people of India. So, in the formative years or the beginning of Indian National Congress, the INC was actually not very aggressive, and it was only pushing the agenda of reforms of how the Britishers can be more and more benevolent towards the people of India. That was the broad objective. Okay, so in the meanwhile, so that's why the Indian National Congress actually divided into two phases. One is the moderates and the second is extremists. Moderates ମାନଙ୍କର କାମ ହେଲା କ'ଣ ନା ସେମାନେ actually appeal କରିବେ to ସେମାନେ request କରିବେ, ସେମାନେ କୌଣସି aggressive policy କରିବେନି, and they would support the British. Okay, so that's the full agenda, the whole agenda of the Britishers. Okay, that's the whole agenda of the Britishers. Okay, and they actually helped. They were also helped by some British officers. Okay, so what we can safely say here is that the people of India, they were actually trying to understand, the way people have been trying to understand, different, how the development practices, the Indian National Congress that has taken place. Kind of say somewhere jo Indian National Congress re jo political leadership thila, particularly Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naroji, they were very famous for drain theory. Okay, they were very famous for drain theory of all these people. So what exactly do we mean by drain theory? Drain theory mane hochi je, see, by drain theory we mean that ଯେ ଆମ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆର ଯେତେକ ରିସୋର୍ସେସ୍ ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଯାକ ଡ୍ରେନ୍ଡ ଆଉଟ୍ ହେଇଯିବ, ମାନେ ବିଦେଶକୁ ପଳେଇବ. So we call it as drain theory of resources. Okay, so when we call it as drain theory, okay, so ଏଇଟା ଥିଲା ମଡରେଟ୍ ମାନଙ୍କର ଗ୍ରେଟେଷ୍ଟ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁସନ୍. ତାପରେ ହେଉଛି ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରିମିଷ୍ଟ. ଓକେ, ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରିମିଷ୍ଟ ମାନଙ୍କର, ଓକେ, so extremist ମାନଙ୍କର the ଯୋଉମାନେ ଥିଲେ, ଯୋଉମାନେ particularly Indian National Congress ସହିତ associate ଥିଲେ, but they were extremists. Some of these extremists, they were what I can say, see, for example, I can safely say that what I can say is, see, for example, ଆମର ଲାଲା ଲାଜପତ ରାୟ, ଲାଲ ବାଲ ପାଲ ଶୁଣିଥିବ ନା, ଲାଲା ଲାଜପତ ରାୟ, ବିପିନ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ପାଲ, ହଁ ଲାଲା ଲାଜପତ ରାୟ ବାଲ ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ତିଲକ ଏମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରିମିଷ୍ଟ। ତ ଏମାନଙ୍କର ଥିଲା ଯେ ଆମେ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି ବ୍ରିଟିଶର୍ସକୁ କାଉଣ୍ଟର କରିବା, ଆର୍ଗ୍ୟୁ କରିବା, ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ବିରୋଧ କରିବା ମୂଳରୁ। Because so that's why they coined the term Swadeshi. Hela, Swaraj is my birthright. Okay, so that was the slogan that the moderates they actually gave. Sorry, extremists. But actually, Indian National Congress, it was a dead organization by 1915. So when Gandhi arrived in the scene, okay, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗାନ୍ଧୀ ଆସିଲେ, so he realized that one important thing, that this approach, that the moderates and the extremist approach will not help the Britishers, will not help the Indians to get independence from the Britishers. And that is why he actually argued that we must develop one mass contact program by the Indian National Congress to counter the British. So he actually, for the first time in the history of Indian national movement, created a mass contact program by initiating programs to include the peasants, the women, the downtrodden section of the society. So ଯୋଉମାନେ ସମାଜର ପଛରେ ଥିଲେ ସେଇମାନଙ୍କୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ସିଏ ଆମର ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଏବଂ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଅଲସୋ ମାଇନରିଟିଜ୍ ଏବଂ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ସିଏ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ କଂଗ୍ରେସ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ଆକ୍ଟିଭେଟ୍ କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କଲେ ଏବଂ ଯାହାଫଳରେ I mean, what happened was that, Indian National Congress was a huge success. Okay, so that's the story of Gandhi. So Gandhi actually contributed a lot to the idea of Swaraj. Okay, so ସ୍ୱରାଜଟା ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହିସାବରେ ଇଏ ହେଲା ଏବଂ ଗାନ୍ଧୀଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ କଂଗ୍ରେସ ସୋସିଆଲିଜିମ୍ ପ୍ଲାନିଂ ଏ ସବୁଥିରେ ଗାନ୍ଧୀଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରମିନେଣ୍ଟ ରୋଲ୍ ରହିଲା। ଓକେ, ବଟ୍ ଦି ମୋଷ୍ଟ ଇମ୍ପର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଇଜ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗାନ୍ଧୀ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଆଲି ୱାଜ୍ ଗୋଇଂ ଟୁ ବିକେମ୍ independent, so Gandhian economics or Gandhian planning became very very prominent. Okay, so ଗାନ୍ଧୀଙ୍କର ପ୍ଲାନିଂ କ'ଣ ଥିଲା ନା ଯେ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଯେ ଆମ ଦେଶ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଆମେ କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଷ୍ଟ ମଡେଲ ଅଫ୍ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଫଲୋ କରିପାରିବା ନାହିଁ, ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରାସ ରୁଟ୍ ଡେମୋକ୍ରାଟିକ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ମଡେଲ ଫଲୋ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ, ହ୍ୱିଚ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଭେରି ଏସେନ୍ସିଆଲ। ଏବଂ ସେଇ ଯେଉଁ ଗ୍ରାସ ରୁଟ୍ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ମଡେଲ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ actually was the center of all kinds of politics. Okay, ତେଣୁ ତାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଏଟାକୁ adopt କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। Okay, so I think all these things were very very important. Okay, so so what actually became part of the dialogue process was that Gandhian philosophy and the Gandhian model became very important. Okay, ତେଣୁ ତମେ ଦେଖିବ ଯେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ କନସେନସସଟା ହେଲା ଯେ ଗାନ୍ଧୀ was a central figure in the democratic development decision making process. Okay, so that was crucial to the Gandhian model of development. Okay, so ତମେ ଦେଖିବ ଗାନ୍ଧୀ actually role of Gandhi in the Indian national development ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟିଏ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ଏଇ ୟୁନିଟରେ ବହୁତ ଇମ୍ପର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ। ଓକେ, ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ଏଇ ୟୁନିଟରେ କେବଳ how Gandhi became the central figure in the development process, that's more important in this unit. Okay, the second unit, which is very very important, is very crucial, and all of you should look at how the what I can say, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what I can say, debates on models of development. Okay, if you look at the second unit, which is debates on models of development, where we see that by the time India actually got independence, India we never had any kind of debate on the development syndrome. Okay, we never had any kind of development syndrome. And what is important is that it actually may be convenient to start with the question of land reform, okay, on which the broadest consensus was obtained. Okay. And it has been seen in the earlier unit that even the Bombay plan of the big industrialists of India envisaged land reforms. And on 28 June 1946, the Eastern Economist, House Journal of the Birlas, made a strong case for land reform, declaring that the landlord has no economic justification for his existence. And in December 1946, the Subcommittee on Land Reform of the National Planning Committee of the Congress, headed by J.C. Kumarappa, a staunch Gandhian, laid down 3 stages of land reform: abolition of zamindari and other intermediary rights, grant of tenancy right to the actual cultivator, and ceiling on landholding. Okay, and ceiling on landholding. So the fate of zamindari and intermediary rights was thus, sealed. The debate therefore focused on compensation. So during discussion on the right to property in the Constituent Assembly of India, this issue actually acquired, importance. And on 2nd May 1947, Raja Jagannath Baksh Singh moved on an amendment to the draft article on the right to property, which allowed acquisition of private property by the state for public purpose against compensation, inserting the word just. Okay. So that's the most important thing. Okay. So, so that's why the idea of nationalization also came into, prominence. So that's why, the state can actually control and nationalize all the documents in the name of nationalization. Okay. And then the issue of planning, that's also became very, very important. Industrial relations. Okay. So it was at the trade union front that the sharpest conflict arose. So when the All India Trade Union Congress was set up in 1920, at the instance of International Labour Organization, congressmen by and large distanced themselves from it. Okay. So actually, when India got independence, there were also some nationalist industrial houses. For example, Tata, for example, Birla, Birla House achi, Tata manankar madhya kote contribution achi nationalist discourse ku. Okay. So I think they were also very, very important. Okay. So when we try to understand the very idea of, development, and when we try to understand the, essence of all these ideas, okay, what we find and what we see here is, it's a collective desire to, understand, these politics. Okay. And that's the reason why, there is a political debate. And you will be surprised to know that, the ideological debate had its impact on the politics around the period of independence. The first post-war budget was inflationary. To counteract the inflationary tendency of the national economy, the finance minister of the interim government, Liaquat Ali Khan, presented a budget which proposed a 25% tax on all business profits above 100,000 rupees. So the tax was intended to restrict the spending habits of the wealthy Indians, and had a socialistic color. But it created a furor among the congressmen who alleged that the budget was aimed at harming the interest of the businessmen, who were mostly Congress supporters. So this budget practically sealed the fate of the Congress League cooperation and was one of the major factors leading to the partition of the country. So on the eve of independence in June 1947, the Central Committee of the Communist Party of India concluded that though the forces of freedom movement had compelled the imperial rulers to open negotiations with the Indian leaders, the former were trying to forge a new alliance with the princes, being landlords and big business of India, in order to control the Indian state and economy. Yet, the party held that the agreement embodied the Mountbatten proposal of 3rd June 1947 for partition of British India, offered new opportunities for national advance, and two popular governments and constituent assemblies were strategic weapons in the hands of national leadership. So it welcomed independence on 15th August 1947. And in December 1947, however, it reversed the position and called the acceptance of the Mountbatten Plan an abject surrender on the basis of an imperialist feudal bourgeoisie combine. And the resolution led to the communist militancy in 1948-49. So in 1947, the forward bloc left the Congress. And on 28th February 1947, the Congress Socialist Party decided to drop the word Congress from its name. And Ram Manohar Lohia, a socialist leader, accused the Congress of compromising with the vested interests. And in March, the party opened membership to non-congressmen. And in 1948 March, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, actually after having been accused of neglecting the security of Mahatma Gandhi, who had been assassinated in 1948, decided to quit Congress. Joy Prakash Narayan declared that the draft constitution framed by the Constitutional Assembly was clumsy and not inspiring. Okay, so that's the thing, the kind of understanding. So I mean, Jadioba constitution theory hitala. So people were not very happy with the way Constitution of India was being drafted, and people were looking at the idea of constitution. Okay, and if you look at the objective resolution of the Constituent Assembly of India, so all these issues were sought to be sorted out in the objective resolution that was passed in the Constituent Assembly of India in a fairly early stage of its proceedings. And that resolution pledged to establish an independent sovereign Republic of India, which, along with its component parts, would derive all power and authority from the people of India. So this would also guarantee to all people of India justice, social, economic, and political equality of status and of opportunity, and before the law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, worship, vocation, association, and action, subject to law and public morality. Further, adequate safeguards would be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes. So these liberal and welfarist ideas, as will be seen, were reflected in the preamble to the Indian Constitution that presents the essential philosophy of the independent Indian state. So the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy were their elaborations. So what we see here is that as far as the Indian development model was concerned, I mean, it was not an easy job at all, and people were worried about the development politics and what could be the political implications of its importance. The third thing is the third unit that we would like to see is that I mean, what we understand here is that constitution and social transformation. Okay, so as far as the third unit is concerned, it is written constitution and social transformation. What exactly do we mean by social transformation? Any idea about social transformation? Anybody who can say about social transformation? Hello? Anybody who can say about social transformation?
Sir, is social transformation deals with a society where there is no discrimination on the basis of the caste, creed, color, or anything like that, which has been also mentioned in the Constitution of India, and or equality before the law, uh, like that, and there should be
Is there
equal
anything else
opportunities.
that all of you would like to say? What exactly do we mean by social transformation?
So protection of rights of people.
Okay.
So social transformation means evolution of the society from a backward to a developed society or country.
Mm, See, try to understand that. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say on this? Is there anybody else who would like to say something on this topic? See, when we try to understand the constitution and social transformation, what is important is that the important agenda of social transformation, and particularly the if you look at the outlook of the Indian constitution, see, the Constitution of India is actually the highest legal political document for its government. So when we try to understand the legality of what we can say about the constitution and social transformation. So by social transformation, what actually comes to our mind is that the society will be transformed through the constitutional values. Okay, the society will be transformed through constitutional values. And what are these constitutional values? How do we look at these constitutional values? So it's again important that how we look at these constitutional values and how far they actually create an impact as far as the constitutional values are concerned. Okay. So that's why that's why it is very important that how we look at understand the constitutional so look at how we look at the idea of how we look at the idea of transformation itself. Okay. So the outlook of the Indian Constitution, if you look at the preamble, is there anybody who can say what exactly do we mean by preamble?
So preamble is the face of the constitution.
But what do you mean by preamble? It's not enough. How you define preamble? It's not enough.
So it is like a synopsis of the whole constitution.
What else?
Sir, you can call it the summary of the constitution, and we can get the whole idea of the constitution from this one. And
what else?
I say proper management.
Hello?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Tell me. I couldn't hear
Cares
you.
about the rights and justice and equality that are served in our country.
Economics, politicals, and liberatory expression.
Okay. See, when we try to understand the preamble, preamble is not just a face of the community. The constitution. Okay. It's very important that how we understood the preamble and how we look at the very idea of preamble itself. See, for example, if you look at the preamble and it reads that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, democratic republic. So like this, it actually reads. Okay. So the preamble of India actually one of the most important documents that actually we can figure out. How they can actually do some of the most important things in our mind or that we have seen so far. So the preamble is actually one of the smartest things that we can actually look at it. So particularly, so in India, may I ask you one important, very simple question? Who is sovereign? In India, who is sovereign? Here actually India is sovereign.
So the people.
It is the people of India who are sovereign. Okay. So why the people of India are sovereign? That's the question. I mean, why the people of India are sovereign?
So because we are not under any outsider, we are free. We are free to do our things. We have some
No, no, no,
rights.
no, 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 no. What else? Another
So it
guess.
is equally distributed to each and every Indians. Whatever right or whatever resource we have in India, it is equally distributed to everyone.
No.
So there is a
What else?
unity between each and every Indian.
No. Any other guess? Any other guess? Hmm. Hmm. Any other guess? Any other guess? We the people of India means, I mean, the people are, that means the people have made the constitution. I mean,
Self-governance.
Democratic.
Sir, we have self-governance as the people of India elect the representatives, and from the people of India only the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. Every pillars of India is connected with the people of India only. So
Okay.
people are
And
very much important.
okay.
Another important.
Uh, I mean, what? How do you look at? I mean, look at the very idea of what we can say is that. I mean, when we say that we the people of India, so that means that the people are really sovereign. Okay, the people are really sovereign, and the people actually they look at the very idea of constitution. They have made the constitution, so it's very very important. Just a second, just let me mute my mic just for few seconds, couple of seconds. Okay. So, okay, I'm back. So, how do we look at the constitution? So, particularly the idea of rights, particularly the idea of, see, fundamental rights, Indian constitution, where is fundamental? Where do you find fundamental rights? अरे फंडामेंटल राइट्स टा कोड अछि हेलो
So part 4A.
article kete. Hello.
Sir, fundamental rights part 3 रे अछि और article 12 to 35.
Okay. So see, fundamental rights ta India re rupe achi. When we look at the Indian Constitution, fundamental rights, I mean, particularly जो माने fundamental rights, I mean those who are aware of fundamental rights, what is important is that I mean how we look at the very idea of fundamental rights. Okay, so that's pretty important. Okay, but actually we are more concerned about the directive principles of state policy. We are more concerned about these things. Okay, so that's the key point that we are looking into it. Okay, so how and whether the directive principles of state policy and how they actually they help us. So for example, if you look at the common good and life of dignity in the sphere of law, in the economic sphere, okay, the rights of workers, for children and the weaker sections in the sphere of agriculture and environment, I mean, all these things, they were actually very, very helpful. Okay. When we try to understand the idea of, the social transformation issue. So as far as the social transformation is concerned, the directive principles of state policy, they were very, very important. And, it was actually crucial for all of us to understand these things. Okay, so I think these these 3 units, as we see here, is that some of these things are really very important. But if you look at the 4th unit, which is diversity and pluralism, but I really would like to discuss this unit, 4th unit. This what I can say, what is important is that, I mean, we need to understand, okay, the very value of the constitution that we have actually established. So that's actually very, very important. So all these values are actually, how they actually can contribute to the development of the process. Okay, so jota ki amuk actually help karibo, that will actually help us. Okay, so actually I don't want to teach you this today, this 4th unit, because this is very important, diversity and pluralism, and why diversity is more important and pluralism are important, because I would like to have a full class about the diversity and pluralism. So I think I would stop here today, because I'm also a little bit, what I can say, I mean, the point that I would like to raise here is that I would like to take a full class on the question of diversity and pluralism, maybe a half-an-hour class on the question of diversity and pluralism, so that I can teach you properly, because this is the central unit of this paper, diversity and pluralism. Because the way you understand the very idea of diversity, the way you, locate the idea of pluralism in democracy and development, they are so important. We just cannot ignore it. Just part of, our understandings and other things. So I think what is important is that we need to, miss those things. Okay, we need to, what is important is that, we need to understand those things in a in a different way. Okay, so I think so that is why I will take this class fourth unit in a different way, and probably for today I think I would like to stop here. And I think I have a class. When do I have a class? Can you please tell me? On second? Hello?
Again, sir. Sir,
I have a
tomorrow.
class. I have a class on second, I guess.
Sir,
Because
tomorrow.
no, not
No,
tomorrow.
no.
I have a class on
Second
second.
January. Not tomorrow, sir.
No, yeah. So so I think I have a class on second, third, fourth, fifth, and
Right?
sixth.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will take class accordingly, and next time onwards I will take class at sharp 7 o'clock. Okay, there will not be any
Okay,
further
sir.
delay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Sorry
sir.
for today's delay, but next time there won't be any delay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.